Okay, thanks. So for the second update, this is about the root zone. This is about deploying ZONEMD in the root zone. This is something that I've presented on here a few times. So this slide is a little bit of a repeat, but as background, if you're not familiar, ZONEMD is a protocol or a resource record that's described in RFC 8976, whose official title is Message Digests for DNS Zones. This is a cryptographic digest or hash of all the data in a zone, and it's embedded into the zone data itself as a ZONEMD resource record. The ZONEMD record is computed by zone publishers, and then it's verified by zone recipients. And the little diagram at the bottom here sort of shows how the process works. First, you order and format the data in the zone, and then you sign it with DNSSEC. The ordering and the format is the same that is used for DNSSEC, so it makes sense to do those two at the same time. After the zone is signed, you compute its digest, and then you add the digest record to the zone, and you also would add its DNSSEC signature for the digest record. So this is all coming soon to the root zone. In about a week, on September 13th, we will begin publishing the ZONEMD record. It will be deliberately unverifiable. So we'll have DIRS2, the sequel, a deliberately unverifiable root ZONEMD record. The ZONEMD record will be published with the private use hash algorithm number 241. But if you sort of close your eyes and squint, you'll see that the hash value itself is remarkably similar to the SHA-384 hash value. Then on December 6th, we will start publishing the ZONEMD record in the root zone with a proper SHA-384 digest value and hash algorithm field value of 1. So this is kind of exciting because this is the root zone's first new record type in 13 years, if my math and data analysis is correct. One very important thing to note is that on the ftp.interdict.net and www.interdict.net sites where you can download the zone, it will appear in its native presentation format, which there's an example of below. So if you or somebody you know maybe has software that goes and fetches that zone periodically and parses it with some custom scripts, they should be aware that this new record will be there, and that any processes or scripts that rely on that would need to be updated to handle this new record. This table shows the implementations that I'm aware of, implementations of ZONEMD. This list is getting longer, which is great. One of the first implementations was one that we did for the RFC. It's called LDNS Zone Digest, not to be confused with the implementation in LDNS itself. We just chose that name because it used the LDNS library. But you can see here the other open source software tools, resolvers, and authoritative servers that support ZONEMD. Some of these only support or implement the verification part, and some might only implement the publication part, depending on how they can be used and what their roles are in the DNS ecosystem. I learned very recently that OpenDNSSEC will soon release a version that supports ZONEMD, so that's very exciting as well. Here's a slide with lots of additional information if anyone would like to have it. There's the RFC. There's an RZERC publication that describes the process that we went through in that group to get to this point. The root server operators have made a public statement on adding ZONEMD to the root zone. There's a Verisign blog, and there's also an APNIC ping podcast episode where I talked about all this as well. And future announcements will be made to the DNS operations and other mailing lists. So keep an eye out for those. And that's it for this talk.
And there's a question in the workshops channel.
Thanks for doing this. Just want to add the kind of commercial Akamai cache products also support zone parsing and verification.
Excellent. Thanks, Ralph. I wish I'd have known that. I'd put it in the table for you.
Why are you starting with the DERS? If you could expand a little bit on that.
Sure. So, so anytime we make changes to the root zone, we want to be a little bit extra cautious, right? And so similar thing was done when the zone was signed in 2010. This is for ZONEMD, this is a 2-month period where we publish the record in the unverifiable format, just so that we know that simply the presence of the record doesn't lead to any problems. And then after that DERS period, which it's about 3 months in this case, then we'll turn it on and pay attention to what happens when it becomes verifiable. So it's just out of an abundance of caution is all.
Hi, Duane. This is Chao Yulu from Tsinghua University. A quick question: would the root servers able to respond to standalone ZONEMD queries?
Yes. So the root servers and any other name server that implements the protocol should respond to a query of type ZONEMD. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Duane.
All
Much
right.
appreciated.
Thank you.